What's going on, everybody? It's Matt, aka the Lumberjack Landlord. And no, your eyes do not deceive you. This is the same shirt for the last 4 days of recordings. It's actually not the same exact shirt, but I know that I'll get asked that. So Mike Zuber from One Rental at a Time, who always blesses us on Fridays, we've got a guest. It's the Three Amigos Part Deux.
But I like that. Yeah. Dude, he's retired. He's retired now. He's actually available. He's not busy working.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I know. I'm the idiot, right? So Mike Zuber from One Rental at a Time, we've got with us Dion from Dion Talk Financial Freedom with us. How you guys doing this morning?
Great.
Both of you, same time. It's okay.
I'm doing
We
great.
have no rules.
I'm doing great.
This is
and like Matt, same shirt as the last 400 days. Not the same exact shirt, but the same shirt.
Yeah. Same with me. I wore a black turtleneck 2 or 3 days in a row. Not the same turtleneck. I'd have seven or eight of them.
Perfect. We're not just going in there and grinding out 17 videos a day for you guys, even though Mike would like to do that. We're still not doing that. So, guys, one of the things that we wanted to talk about today, first topic, is bigger pockets. Mm-hmm. So I think that, was it Dion that sent this one? Somebody sent this video and we watched it last night, and I got about, admittedly, 17 seconds in and my skin started to crawl because I start hearing things like long-term rentals are stupid and it's all about short-term and I'm getting out of the long-term game. I know we hate money. So Mike, start me off, because again, you guys are just like, you love winding me up, and I get it. Like, I'm not a little motorcycle that runs across the floor and spins around and whacks into stuff.
So I have to admit, I haven't been on bigger pockets, in any kind of way for probably 12, maybe even 14 years. I was an everyday contributor. I was featured on a very early episode with Josh Dorkin in his basement. I was a featured blog writer once a week, and I was one of the speakers at the original Bigger Pockets conference in Denver. So I had a good relationship there, and I was on it every day. And then, that legacy alum came in, rubbed me the wrong way, stopped immediately because of that individual. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't been back in a long time. This video came out the other day about basically getting out of long-term rentals in the short term and all of that. So because of the Three Amigos, I spent a couple of hours on Bigger Pockets yesterday. And again, it's only a couple hours, where I used to spend a couple hours a day. So granted, it's not a lot of history, but it just feels different than 14 years ago. Right. When I was on it, Jay Scott was still flipping homes. He hadn't written a book yet. There was a guy named Tom Merritt that was doing stuff down in Southern California. So I know a lot of the OGs, and it's just not the same place. It feels like a place now where it's get rich quick, where when I was there, it was very much, hey, the best place to build wealth, long-term hold. Sure, we might flip like Jay Scott. But it was very much wealth building. At least that's what it felt like to me. And again, some of this could just be my natural bias. I'm freaking old now, and maybe I remember the good and I don't remember the bad. All possible. But Bigger Pockets today, again, 2-hour search yesterday, feels very much like a pitch platform, a get rich quick. Let's sell some books. BRRRR, short-term rentals, syndications, 1,000 units. It's dude, where did the whole let's just get to 4 and change my life? Let's start with a negative $79,000 in net worth and be financially free in 8 years. Let's be a high school dropout, build a portfolio of 100 and make it happen. Start with house. It just felt, and again, totally my bias, like a get rich quick platform. And if it's become that, it's going to hurt a lot of people. I don't know if it is that. It was 2 hours of research. I left it feeling icky. So Dion, I know you spend a lot more time on it than me. Please tell me where I'm wrong, but that's how I left it.
So I love telling Matt he's wrong. I don't like telling Mike you're wrong.
I don't mind.
So when you were watching Bigger Pockets, Mike, when you would have taken the content yourself, mm-hmm. you knew this was a channel you go to take in content.
Yep.
That channel grew, and they have a team of people who, so the content creators, Matt's favorite guy in the world, David Green, your favorite guy in the world, Brandon Turner.
Oh,
they made content. They didn't make thumbnails. They didn't make titles. They didn't make the intros. They didn't do the editing, right? So as it grew, they've got this team that goes, how does YouTube work?
Okay.
Because so what I would do is go, the average person, here's strategies you can use to make work optional. Let us try to help you. Like that's what we want to put out there, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to reach the most people, it's the title that gets views. So I have a friend. He's been here in my studio. He actually wore my shirt for our last video so that people know I have more than one. Cody Davis. So Cody Davis of Cody and Christian Multifamily, right? So they're killing it. Over 100 units. Cody just turned 22. So the average person at 22 is not going to have over 100 units.
Mm-hmm.
He has almost the most viral Bigger Pockets video of, I think, 600,000 views or something. I was looking, but I couldn't find it. Right. And so it just got a ton of views because of the title, under 22, 100 units. That's what catches views. Is that information going to help people? If you want to only do seller financing and you don't want to do any bank lending and you want to copy Cody's strategy, sure. But if you want to go one rental at a time from the MLS, traditional lending, that is, like you said, what happened to the boring, the buy and hold. The buy and hold doesn't get clicks, doesn't get views.
Yeah.
So to break it down for people who, I've seen it in the comments too. I don't watch Bigger Pockets anymore because of, I've been on there and I've seen, how to get 1,000 units in 4 years, how to build a $10 million portfolio in like whatever the thing is, right? So it's the Bigger Pockets podcast that gets views with catchy titles that don't apply, in my opinion, sometimes to the average person.
Got it.
They have the Real Estate Rookie podcast, which doesn't get branded so much with Bigger Pockets, but it is Bigger Pockets. So you have two hosts with smaller portfolios who you have to have done. For a long time, it was less than 10 deals to be on the podcast. Now I'm hearing it's less than 4 deals to be on the podcast. So they have that. Here's for the newbies. Here's for the views. I still watch the other one because I know Matt isn't a fan of David Green, but to take someone who worked in law enforcement, who has the same barber I do, who speaks so eloquently when it comes to finances, and people who've done public speaking understand this. When you're saying something, your brain is about 3 sentences ahead of the words coming out of your mouth, so you get the tone and inflection right. And to hear him do that and understand the concepts he's talking about, I watch everything he puts out. But does it apply to the average person? That's where you guys come in.
Yes, it doesn't.
Yeah. So I want to go back to the rookie because again, you're right. In my 2-hour review, I don't know that stuck out to me. I don't know that I was looking for that, but it didn't stick out to me. So maybe everything I was looking at was the bigger 1,000 unit stuff. So thank you. Right. I guess I got to go look for the rookie, but I think the rookie one, again, I admittedly never seen it. Getting it down to 4 units is it's still the wrong thing. There are people with hundreds of units that cater to 4 units, getting that first one. And I think you missed something because again, as you know, the first 4 years are hard.
Yeah.
And I spend all of my time, and again, this is probably selfish and a natural bias, and I feel like Bigger Pockets doesn't like me. Did you guys know? Here's a crazy fact. I sent the draft of One Rental at a Time to Bigger Pockets to publish. I was willing to take 0 money from it to let Bigger Pockets publish it because I wanted to get back to the platform that started my journey, which was Bigger Pockets. And they said, no, thank you. Basically, they had their buy and hold guy and his name was Brandon Turner. So they told us, no, they don't want One Rental at a Time. Okay, fine. That's okay. I'm a big boy. But yeah, so I tried. I was willing. So maybe I have a natural, maybe I'm just cranky. But yeah, so maybe I should look at the rookie stuff. So, but again, I think somebody who's got, 50 units, but is focused on helping people get started. I think that's a better story than, hey, we've all got 4 units together. Let's get in an echo chamber and talk about how Section 8 inspections suck. Well, you know what? I've had 1,000 Section 8 inspections. Let me tell you, it doesn't really suck. It sucks the first time, but let me tell you about it, right? Let's have a counseling session. So I don't know. I guess I just need to admit I'm cranky.
Boy, I don't do that. Film at 11. Anyway. So I think that, so to pick up on something that Dion said about green. So I don't know that many people know this, but he's got one of the largest lenders in the country.
I didn't know that.
That's kind of a thing in my eyes, that you should be disclosing on every single thing that you talk about, because I think there's a couple pieces to it. One, he clearly understands what it takes to run a massive business, right? Because that business is massive. If it's that big, it's massive. He certainly knows what he's seeing from whether it's credit degradation or cancels or whatever, like he certainly sees that stuff. And I think what kind of irks me about it is we talk about what we do and firsthand experience and firsthand knowledge. And I think that on the finance side, that's certainly something that he crushes, right? But in owning that massive mortgage company. Mm-hmm. But the example that we'll take yesterday of STRs, I know that he was talking about, oh yeah, I hardly ever get to get out on the road and buy me some real estate, but put a house in Florida under contract and put a bunch of Smoky Mountain cabins under contract. And it's like, who is he talking to? Like, that is not that's like a 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000 investor that like hops on a plane and goes and kind of on a whim and give me.
I'll take that one over there. I'll take the yellow one over there, the blue one.
I got to get out because I got to get to Florida and put that other house that I have under contract. And so I think that I think that's a little bit lost. But I think the other thing too is that in that strategy, I think that people have no idea how much that strategy costs. They have just no idea that being in disparate markets all over the country, how much that actually costs. If you're going to go down that path and be the jet setting real estate investor, people need to understand that there's massive risk to that and massive cost to that. Because if you're doing the one rental at a time way, and you got to know that market 90, 120 days, you can't do that for more than, and stay in it to win it and really understand the market dynamic in more than, I don't know, 4 markets, maybe 5 tops. But Dion, go ahead.
So
David Green fan.
Here's who David Green is talking to.
Yeah.
Everybody. You looked at it looking for things you can disagree with. Okay. Did you know that he's also talking about, with everything he's making and the lending that he has, house hacking in San Francisco? He's currently house hacking, just bought another house hack a few months ago. He's still talking to people who want a house hack, whether you make $17 an hour or $1 bazillion an hour like he does now. So if you're looking for information on house hacking, it was there too. But you were looking for, what is he saying that the average person probably won't relate to? And you found it. So he's talking to the niche people. He's talking to the people who want a house hack. He works on his podcast. He's talking to Bigger Pockets fans for Bigger Pockets on Bigger Pockets dimes. You said he should talk about his lending on everything, right? You think Bigger Pockets is going to put him out there so he can market his company? He's not allowed to. Sure. On his channel, which has, like, the last time I checked, 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers. Sure. He talks about it all the time. Yep. So on his platform, sure. When I'm on Bigger Pockets, so I don't know if you know this or not, but I don't think I'm going to be a teaching assistant for them anymore, because I wear the logo of my nonprofit, which doesn't charge a penny of our clients at all. Right? So I'm not trying to promote, I'm not trying to grow it, because if it grows, it makes more work, right? So that's not what it exists for. They don't like the fact that you wear a logo in their videos. When you're working for Bigger Pockets, you're only supposed to talk Bigger Pockets. So I'll defend Green that he doesn't talk about his lending stuff much. I've heard him mention it, but not a lot, because they don't let you. Yeah. Wouldn't make sense. Their platform's not to grow his stuff.
For sure. Not much about growing his properties or growing his business, but more always giving the financial perspective, like really kind of digging into those numbers and talking about those things. Like, that guy is, as far as I can tell, he's a mortgage ninja, right? Like, he's like Matt the mortgage guy. I mean, except he owns something that's massively, massively, massively huge. So even the analytics that those guys can provide at the press of a button, because Mike and I embrace tech, right? Like the data that he has at his fingertips at the press of a button, that'd be far more valuable. But I think that I didn't hear any I didn't hear, and maybe I didn't, admittedly, I couldn't watch the hour and 14. Couldn't bring myself to it. I struggled. I watched a good portion of it, but I struggled because so much of it is setting people up for failure. They're talking about all the upside. They're talking about look at this and look at this and look at this, like Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone is amazing, but I have never heard him say poo-poo about anything other than you just got to 10x it. I swear to God. And so I think that's where the key is. That's why, if I have to pick between the three, that's why Gary Vaynerchuk's more my dude. Because he's just like, yeah, it sucks. It's awful. It's the worst. Absolutely. Find it, you love it, and then you work and you get through it and stop being a whiner.
I'll take the con there. I've never once heard something come out of Gary V's mouth that I cared about, thought, or I can implement. Nothing actionable. Everything is got to have the right mindset. Well, mindset didn't get me crap. Give me something I can do.
Sure.
Let me buy one rental at a time. Let me learn how seller financing works. Let me learn how house hacking works. Give me those actionable things. So you're right. We all have different needs on what we're going to take from. What does the average person benefit from? There are people who need that mindset shift. That's not something I've ever needed.
Agreed.
So I put on Gary V and I'm like, in that hour and a half, I think there was a meme worth of information.
Yeah. And so you and I have talked about that actually. I think you and I talked about that, which was kind of was like, okay, like enough with the hustle porn. But if I had to pick between the three, right? Like you're taking what you need from that person. What I want to see and what I'm most concerned about and why I still talk about doing deals on the daily and on the weekly and on the monthly, why I still talk about those is because you want the experience and want to hear about the stories of the experience of doing that thing. But we're pretty well at our sizes. We're pretty well insulated from one transaction crushing us.
Yeah.
And that's my concern is that I see people getting into Airbnb and following these people that have built these Airbnb kingdoms. The fact of the matter is that none of them started those Airbnb kingdoms in the last 12 months or 24. It was all time. And what they got was a market event that propelled them further than anybody ever thought it would. And there's going to be downside. I just think that there's more risk. That admittedly, I don't watch the rookie podcast piece. Don't watch it. But on this particular piece, the one that we were talking about was specifically converting all boring long-term rentals to short terms and only buying short-term properties. To me, that's scary.
So before you jump in, Mike, one of the things that happens with bigger pockets that I think I pounce on is I'll see a video come up, I'll see the thumbnail and it'll be David Green and it'll be the caption is don't invest for cash flow, right? So my brain goes, okay, this is stupid. They're not thinking that video was 15 caller questions on like a voice recording or a video recording. And he addressed 15 questions. And like question number 7 was this one person who in their situation should not be investing for cash flow. But that's the title that got the views.
Sure. Yeah, I get it.
And some knee-jerk reaction was, that's the stupidest thing ever. Like I saw you guys' faces too just now when I said it. But then there are people who just watch it, no matter whatever Bigger Pockets puts out, they're going to take in the content. They got the other 14 questions that weren't anything about that subject.
Okay. Yeah. So I love the fact that Dion was on this, because if Dion wasn't here, you and I would have just rat-holed this, Matt. It would have been ugly. So Dion, a couple of things. So first and foremost, I'm going to go check out the rookie podcast. Data I didn't have. Second, I will go back to Bigger Pockets to spend more time. I will admit that I came to that kind of like you were saying with a natural bias, given my recent history. And then pretty much they said no to one rental at a time. So I'm always going to feel like they don't like boring rentals, but I get it. And then I love titles. So what I'm hearing you say is I have to get better at creating titles. That's what I think you just told me. So
look at your best viewed video or most viewed. San Francisco is crashing. Like the title got it.
Okay. All right. I like it. So thank you. This, I still feel like they chase the easy money, but again, the easy money gets clicks. So I get it, but I'll give them some more time. So thank you for this.
Well, the good news is that we'll be able to launch another channel, probably like the 3 Amigos channel, where we will do nothing but couch people that bought STRs and failed.
We can help them fill out job applications.
Yeah. Barista. They're all going to become baristas.
Oh, it's just, like I said, I appreciate, I think that they fill a niche. I get that they're there to also entertain, get all that stuff. I think that we do what I'm really proud of that we do is we make sure that we let people know, yes, it's really hard work. Yes, for 4 or 5 years, it's going to completely suck. Yes, you have to make sure that these numbers make sense. Like one of the comments that was actually made was, you don't make any money on long-term rentals. I bet I can buy him 10 times over. Don't make any long-term money. No, that's just stupid. That's a dumb statement. So while there's room for all these different sectors in our market, because there's needs throughout the market and different levels and types of needs, certainly different needs in different markets, to say something like long-term rentals doesn't make any real money, like that just shows that you haven't done it, you can't do it, and that you're taking the low-hanging fruit. He better hope and pray that all of his rentals, all of his STRs, that at least half of them can LTR.
Yeah.
Because if he can't, he's OVR.
Yeah, he's over. Nice.
That was pretty good, like on the mark. How about that? So boys, Dion, tell everybody they can find you, you big pockets defender.
You can find me in the Bigger Pockets forums. In the Facebook group, the official Bigger Pockets Facebook group, the Real Estate Rookie Facebook group. You can find me in the One Rental at a Time course. And you can find me right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom.
And throwing life preservers to anybody that's ever posted on Bigger Pockets. Where can they find you, my friend?
One rental at a time. I will not be posting on Bigger Pockets, but I will give them a lot more time. And I appreciate that I came to this with my own bias. So Dion, thank you for clearing that up. I appreciate you.
I just don't like anybody. So as we always say, just like and subscribe. We love you, our viewer. We love you, our viewer. That's who we're here for, because it's certainly not for the massive checks I'm getting cut. Anyway, we appreciate you guys taking the time with us. As always, like and subscribe, and you will see us in the next video debating some other Bigger Pockets topic. Talk soon.